guys, this is Magic Man 5169 and welcome to the first episode of many of Longboarding 101, where we're going to start from the basic of the basic and work our way to the most complicated of the complicated that I can comprehend on everything you need to know about getting started on longboarding and getting good with the understanding of your board and riding it and such. So today is going to be all about picking out a board and understanding how it's put together and the parts. So let's go down to the basement so we can take apart boards without getting the carpet greasy. Alright guys, now that we're in the basement, let's get started about talking about decks. Alright, so the most longboard in my mind is, when I think of longboards, I guess it's because the first longboard I ever rode was my cousin's and it was like a smaller pintail. It's just a pintail. And a pintail, hence the name pintail, it tapers off in the back and the front, and it's really just an all-around, it can do just about anything you throw at it. It's not too strong or can't handle just about anything. Next deck, the main deck we're going to be talking about is a drop-through deck, where the trucks are actually mounted. There's a spot cut out right here so you can mount the trucks on top, and it allows you to be lower to the ground so you can have more stability, and they're more for downhill racing type things. But you can mount them on the bottom, and it's basically an all-around freestyle deck then. I don't know the technical name for this. I call it, I guess, the short longboard, and it's just a shorter board. It's not, I wouldn't consider it a cruiser. I guess it could be. And they come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. And to sort of give you an idea of how big they are, I'll hold them up next to the skateboard, an old skateboard. This is a little bit bigger than a skateboard, the shorter boards. And I don't know how many inches that is, but this is 44 or 42. And as you can see, there is a big height difference. And the drop through is quite a bit longer than the skateboard. And we don't need this anymore. So next, let's start talking about the different parts on the board. Let's start very vaguely. On the bottom of each longboard, shortboard, you're going to have 2 trucks and 4 wheels. And inside each wheel are 2 bearings. And these bearings are mounted inside the wheels on both sides. And it's all held together with a nut. On the top of the longboard you have your grip tape, and the bottom, most of them have a decal unless you get a blank one for maybe you want to doodle on it or something. This part of the truck is called the hanger, and in the truck you have the kingpin and 2 bushings, one on either side. And underneath the truck on my longboard there are shock pads because, you know, going off bumps or whatever, you don't want the metal on the truck to ding up your bamboo. And if you haven't noticed already, these trucks are mounted backwards from, if you're comparing it to a skateboard, because it allows you a greater turning ability. And that's pretty much standard on all longboards, unless you get double kingpin trucks, which are, hence the name double kingpin, have 2 kingpins, and once one is turned all the way, it activates the other one, and it allows you to really get into the carves, and it's just great for sharp turns like on sidewalks and stuff. And these have 1/4-inch riser pads so you don't get wheel light. And each deck has, commonly, 4 screws and bolts on either side, which are called hardware, to keep the trucks on the deck. And yeah, so now that we've gone over most of the main components, break down the wheels a little bit. All wheels are different, and all of them have their pros and their cons. These wheels have they're really lipped around the edge, and these are for really sticking you to the pavement, and you can really carve around without worrying you're going to slide or anything. And this board's not really for sliding, it's more for carving around and cruising. So yeah, these wheels are more on the lines of racing wheels, but also you can pull some slides off with them, and there's no big lip around the wheel. And on my deck, they do. Oh, these wheels are good for carving and for sliding. It's just an all-around. I forget the name for them, but it's just kind of in between the really lipped wheels and the stone ground ones that are just really easy to slide on. That look like skateboard wheels. To take apart your longboard or put it back together, you only need two things: a wrench and a screwdriver, or an adjustable wrench, I should say, because that'll fit the nuts on the wheels to adjust and take apart the trucks, and to take off your hardware. And you'll need a screwdriver for your hardware too. Inside each wheel, you'll have the bearings, and on either side of the bearings, on the outside, will be washers. And if your wheel is has built-in wheel space or bearing spacers, you don't need them. But if they don't, you can optionally put in these little metal cylinders to keep the bearings apart so they don't get all bendy and messed up. I don't think there's much more to say with the basics of the parts and picking out a deck. There's downhill decks, more for downhill type stuff. I mean, I live in Illinois, so there's not much hills here, so it's more cruising around and stuff. But yeah, so there's downhill boards, freestyle boards, which allow you the range of, you can do more tricks with them and stuff. But there's a lot of different longboards and a lot of big little subcategories of longboards. But the main ones, just pintails, drop-throughs, freestyle boards, short boards, and that really just sums up the main idea of longboarding. If you have any questions, if I didn't explain something about the basics of longboarding or the basics of the parts, comment and I will be more than happy to respond to you. Or you can email me at gymlop@gmail.com. I will put my email in the description. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day longboarding.